Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's Joe with Global Systems. Hey, I on the way to meet with a client, and I've had a few of our clients ask us what the difference is between the different CO2 detectors out there. There's a handful of different makes and models, and it seems like there's a difference in cost, and some of the higher tier, higher level CO2 monitors cost a bit more than the lower level. And why? And it's a fair question, and one that takes a minute to just kind of give a brief background. But we originally, when we opened up our company and we wanted to do these CO2 monitoring systems, we didn't have the certifications to get out there and get these higher tier CO2 monitors, and so we were kind of forced to start with the lower level CO2 monitors, and it was great. We were installing them. The sad thing is about 7-8 months into business, we started getting a lot of service callbacks to go back and replace faulty pieces and of these CO2 detection systems or monitoring systems. And not only was that expensive in that we had to replace these parts on our own payroll, but also the expense of the customers that we lost because of these cheap systems. And you can imagine, you have false alarms, and you've got to evacuate your building in the middle of business. It creates some angry customers out there, and I completely understand that. And we needed to fix it. We needed to fix it fast. Years ago, somebody told me, you can sell anything to somebody once, but to get out there and to continue selling it, that takes more. And I can't go out there and sell and keep clients when I'm doing the lower tier detectors. And so we quickly went out, we got the certifications needed, and we paid the requirements and such to become dealers and certified providers for the higher tier detectors. Well, in the beginning, that was hard because they were a higher cost, obviously, because it's a better product, and I'm going to explain why in a minute. But it was a little harder to sell because somebody else tells a client, hey, I can do this for this cost, and I'm saying, hey, I can do it at this cost. Well, if you don't know the difference, then naturally, hey, let's go with the cheap one. And if you're thinking of opening a business and selling it in 5 or 6 months, then go for it. Get that cheap one. Just do the minimum to get by. But if you're thinking about longevity, low service calls, and a payback, and I'm going to explain that in a minute too, then you're better off with these higher tier detectors. Now here's the difference between these two detectors. This is the beef of this video, and I hope this is what's going to help. But basically, if the higher level detectors come with a 5-year manufacturer warranty, the lower level detectors come with a 1-year manufacturer warranty. Why is that? It's just how they're made, right? Precision made equipment, cheap made equipment. I can take the lower level ones in one hand and the higher levels in another, and I can feel the difference. I mean, it's just, it's like the Swiss knife versus the cheap knife. It's just, you can just feel the difference, And so that's one thing, a 5-year manufacturer warranty versus 1 year. But more so is the higher level detectors have a self-calibration feature. And that means they calibrate themselves every 2 weeks. And so you never have false alarms due to calibrations. The lower level ones, the manufacturer says that they recommend annual calibrations. Well, what happens if your unit's out of calibration? You're getting false alarms, and you're losing business every time you have to evacuate your building and shut down, and that, depending on how much business you get, that could be a lot of money. But more so is the cost to calibrate these things. I don't know all the detectors. I haven't checked them all, but one in particular, I asked, what's the process to calibrate this thing? And they said, hey, it's real easy. You just take it off the wall, you ship it back to the manufacturer. They do it right there in the lab. There's a fee for it. They send it back, you rehang them, and you're done. Well, could you imagine the service call first to pay somebody to come out and take them out, put a temporary ones up for you. Then they ship. You got the shipping to the manufacturer plus coming back. Then you have another service fee to come out and reinstall it and take out the loaners. And I did the math, and I figured out that if you do that for 6 years, you've essentially paid for the higher tier detector. In other words, the payoff after our system is 6 years. It's essentially paid for itself. In other words, no cost. It's hard to believe, but I figured it out. That's what it is. So that's the main difference between the two detectors. And the other thing is the shelf life. I don't know what the shelf life is on our detectors. I know there have been detectors out there because the CO2 monitoring wasn't a requirement, for a lot of years. But the ones we've had out there, they've got a proven shelf life right now of 12 years. And whether it goes to 15, 30, 40, 50, who knows? It's not known because they haven't been around that long. But a proven shelf life right now of over 10 years. And of the ones that I won't say all of them, we've never had one device fail. But I'll say that it's very, very rare that one fails. I believe, and I don't want to sound like a sales guy or like I'm pulling numbers out of my hat, but it's very, very low. It's like maybe 3 or 4 that we've had to replace. It's that low. I mean, of the hundreds of locations. And so if I'm off 1 or 2, I apologize. I don't recall, but I just know it's very, very low. It's a very good product. Now, we've been over the years buying in large quantity, and we've been able to negotiate buying power. We get a better pricing, and so I'm able to sell these at not a whole lot more than the cheap ones. However, they're a little bit more, and people, will ask, why. That's why. I hope that helps. We value our clients. I value you guys. I thank you. I really thank you. And I hope that helps to explain. And listen, if you really need cheap, like I say, you're going to just be in business for a short amount of time, call me. Let me know. I'll get you the cheap detectors. I will make it happen for you. I will make it possible for you. But if you're looking for a quality product for a medium price, let me know. That's what our recommendation is, and that's what we do for the majority of our clients. So anyway, if you have questions, give me a call, or you can shoot me an email. I'm always glad to help, and I hope this video helps you. Thank you guys. My respects out there to everybody. Sorry I'm dressed down. It's an off day for me, and I'm just going out to meet one client that I'm real close with. We're actually just going to grab a bite to eat, and so I'm dressed down a little bit, but thank you so much. You guys take care. Thank you for watching the video. Bye-bye.